The path of transformation is very powerful. It can be very long and it can be very stagnant and can be very difficult. And that's what I've been watching people going on the spiritual path or when they're transforming their life. This journey is endless. And sometimes it comes with lots and lots of suffering and lots of pain. And through my life and through my life journey, I've been through some transformation many times. That's just the way my life been designed. By the age of 20, I already lived in 3 different countries, spoke 3 different languages, been to more schools than grades. So as you can see, life been throwing me always to transform and transform. And I went through different phases of transformations. And some of them were very difficult, long, and painful. And as I grew up and become more conscious and more aware of the transformation, there's a lot of wisdom that came in through investigation and through understanding and through learning and through expanding. And as a result of that, I was able to help many people to go through their life transformation with much ease. And it's a rapid, full speed, conscious transformation to those who are ready. One of my transformations, my first transformations were when I was in my 17, 80s. I was leaving one country, moving to the other country, leaving everything behind, people I loved, my first love, school, everything, dropping into Canada. And it was like, holy moly, what's happening here? And what helped me to cope with things, not transform things, but cope with things, was prayer. That's the only thing I knew. And I basically said, I begged and I prayed on and on until I had a bit of ease. And that took number of years. And then life threw me into the second big crisis, life crisis. I was only in my early 20s as I was already ending my first marriage. And that went to total block. I just blocked it, never looked back. Never looking through that, never asking myself what happened, what didn't happen. I just blocked it. And it's a way of running away from what's there. So that was my coping mechanism. And then one of my biggest transformation that happened was in my late 30s. And at that time, I had to be conscious. I was already somehow practicing yoga, doing some meditation. So I became more conscious of what's happening. And this transformation really dropped me deep down and transformed and changed my life inside out, as I found myself in a marriage that did not work for me. I was the mother of 3 children by that time. My health, my relationship, everything was just crumbling down. Finances, everything. And that I could no longer pray my way out of it. I really had to dive in and transform it. There was a conscious awareness of you cannot block it and you cannot pray your way through it. You need to be conscious and what's happening. And that's when I took life as my teacher. And every person who was in my life became my teacher. So everybody that I hate, resented, understood, misunderstood, everything that happened in my life became my teacher. And that's where true transformation started happening. As a result of that, I learned many tools, techniques, skills. I learned really how to dive really deep in, and I helped hundreds and hundreds of people to go through their transformation in only 10 sessions. So people who were sitting in their therapist's office for years, or those who were depressed, or those who had anxiety, or those who had confusion, spiritual confusion. God loves me, God hates me, who am I, why am I not? The transformation took place very fast. But of course, the first steps of transformation, it's taking responsibility. And when life events are happening, we have many ways of dealing with them. And something happens and your whole mind goes like it, hate it. Some people going to prayer, some people going to begging, why me, why not me? And some people go into deep transformation. And deep transformation happens, it's like, it's time to take a pause and see what's really happening. And how am I responsible for what is happening in my life? And that can also be like a hooked point where people can be stuck there. Because sometimes what happens, you go through a place where you are kind of blaming everybody. And it's nice and easy and it's kind of light because it's not my fault, it's everybody else's fault. And you probably know who I'm talking about, right? You probably know people like that. And then there's the other flip coin to that. When you take responsibility for that and you're saying, this is my responsibility, I did it. And what's happened now, the way you blamed everybody else, now you're kind of flipping the coin and you're blaming yourself for everything else. This is still not a transformation, right? You're kind of becoming the victim of your own circumstances. Why did they do it? How come did they do it? Why should they be doing it? Why shouldn't they be doing it, right? So the mind still goes into all kinds of negative talk, positive talk. It still gives you lots and lots and lots of stories, right? So through the path of transformations, when we are transforming and changing, what are we really transforming and changing? And we are transforming and changing basically 5 aspects of our life. Once we become conscious navigator, there's 5 steps that needs to be kind of known. What am I transforming? A lot of us really don't know how even to dive in or where to start, because when life happens, you just feel something. You might like it, you might hate it. Then you have a thought about it and you have a story that you're adjusting to that. So something happened and there's a story about it. Sometimes it works both ways. Sometimes there's a story and then there's a feeling. I like it or hate it, right? So it sounds familiar, right? And you all know when life events happens, there's like taking it in. Okay, what just happened? This, that. And now I hate it, I love it. Or the other way around. Wow, this was amazing. And then the story, what was amazing about it? Or, oh, I totally hate it. And then, why did I hate about it? They should have, they shouldn't have. That was right, that was wrong. I was comfortable, I wasn't comfortable, right? The mind has a chatter mind to every story. And it's very good friends with your emotions, right? So the mind and the emotions, they're like excellent friends. If the emotions and the thought is not identified, it goes deeper, right? If you're not stopping the chatter and the emotion or not being conscious of the mind and the emotion, it dives in deeper. What do you think the next layer after the mind and the emotion? And the next layer of the mind of the emotion is the physical body, right? So if you have not kind of made friends with mind, with thoughts and feelings, it goes into the physical body. And then the physical body speaks to you and it tells you whether you're on the right track or not the right track. So this is a bit a later evidence of what was supposed to or not supposed to happen, right? So most of us are aware of the thought, emotion, and physicality, and we operate on that level. What is the difference between conscious navigator and non-conscious navigator? So non-conscious navigator will operate on emotion, thoughts, and physicality. And he kind of plays 3-way ping pong with all of them. I like it, I hate it, the story, changing the story, and then it goes into the physicality. And as you know, if you take any story that you've been kind of caught in, anything that happened or didn't happen, you can see thought, emotion, and physicality playing a big role. Sometimes even go, oh, it feels good in my body, or I'm uncomfortable, my body doesn't feel that. It goes like, right? So this is a trio that is very, very tight unit, right? But then there is the 4th element, and it's the 4th body. I call it the 5 body: physical, emotional, mental. And the 5th one is memory, right? And that's an interesting thing, that when you are born, you're already being downloaded some kind of a program. And the first program that being downloaded is from the first people that you meet, your parents, your mom and your dad, right? And there's a download of information that becomes kind of installed in your memory. And now you're collecting, it's almost like data, memory that's being collected in your computer, right? And so the first people that you meet starting to teach you what are the rules of this game, what is the rules of life. So they're teaching you bad girl, bad boy, good boy. And there's a whole bunch of rules according to their safety mechanism, according to what is right for them. Now they're downloading a program into you. So before you even had a chance to understand or figure out what is right or wrong, and technically you can't, because you're just an infant. So you kind of need to adapt to those rules that being installed, that came to you. And that's exactly what's happening within this time frame. You're learning the rules of existence on this earth. So for instance, you did something that didn't agree with your parents, right? and they have a whole lecture, right? And then there's guilt, and now there's punishment, right? So what is your mind programming? Okay, when I do something that doesn't agree with me, I need to feel guilty, and then I need to punish myself. You see how it works? And that's already a memory body. So now we kind of, there's a program. Same thing happens the other way, right? When you do something amazing, your parents are rewarding you, buying you stuff, right? And now a program comes in, right? And this program right now is also talking to you. When rewarded, when you do something great, you need to reward yourself, right? This has also been programmed. Or if you did something and nobody cared, right? So this is a program that you kind of downloading. I don't care anymore. This is the memory body. And we're learning from our parents already, not only the rules, but you're also learning the rules of love, how to be loved, how to love. I go by the rule, nobody loves me less or more than I love myself. So if you have any relationship, and if you have any hiccups or anything, any relationship that you have, whether you're with your beloved, with your children, with your family, with your friends, all of this relationship is basically a reflection of your relationship with yourself, of the program that you downloaded from your early childhood. That's where we learn. And people in your life basically just coming and shining the light on exactly what needs to be transformed and what needs to be changed. So, and instead of reflecting it back, why they did it, why they didn't do, it's nice to go and reflect and say, wait a minute, what is reflecting in me? And then go into the memory. Where did I get it from? Right? Where did I get it? Why is it still active? Why is it still present here? Right? And then, of course, so there's 4 bodies. Now we have a 5th body. Sorry. And the 5th body is most crucial, right? And the 5th body is the higher self. And the higher self has a whole other character, somebody connected to it, some of us not connected to it, some of us know about it, some of us don't know about it. But we do know about it in some kind of aspect. Some of us call us higher self, some of us call it witness, some of us calling it God. So it has all kinds of names to it. And the higher self is this witness, something that witnesses you, that letting you know, right, what is happening. Unconditionally, it's there for you, right? And this is this God presence. So for instance, when an event happens, something happening in your life, and this higher self and going, wait a minute, press on break and see what's really happening. This is the higher self that is jumping in and telling you, what are you doing? It's pausing, it's getting your attention and say, look at it. Look at it, what's really happened. And it's again, the bringing of the higher self is not very much trained, right? So if you were a child and you had been to a whole conversation where parents are kind of activating the higher self and they're kind of having a dialogue, what do you think has happened? What do you think you could have done differently, making you feel loved unconditionally? It's a whole other aspect, right? But unfortunately, most of us were not raised by Buddha and Jesus. As I always say, we were raised by our parents. Where those fears are coming from, right? Where those fears are coming from that been passed on from generation to generation. And if you look at that, if you look at our world and its evolvement and how it was changing and transforming, it's been transforming through fear. Through fear and doubt. We went through so much evolution. We went through so many wars. We went through so much hunger. We went through so much danger. So we have our mind that is our ancestral mind, who's still here and now, who's still running us by doubt and by fear, right? And that's how most of the parents who were raising our children, passing on to the next generation, keeping us safe from being hurt in your relationship, safe from danger, something might happen, safe on all aspects in our life. There's just fear, this general fear. And there was an experiment, I like to tell this story in my classes. It was an experiment that was done by rats, where they took rats and they, every time the smell of lavender, they will bring aggressiveness towards the rats. So they might stimulate them or some kind of aggressive violence towards them. So smell of lavender and aggressiveness, smell of lavender of aggressiveness. Then they stop the aggressiveness. They just put the smell of lavender, and the rats will go into fear. And it took 5 generations to clear that. The next generation of rats that came through, every time that they felt the smell of lavender, they will go into fear, they will go into anxiety, they will go into all of that. And it took 5 generations to clear all that. So you can see that even that when we are trying and we are aware, our bodies still have the memory of our ancestors, of what to do and what not to do, and where to be afraid. And the fear comes to keep us safe. And that's what was installed on us. It's the fear came to keep you safe from life. So the first thing, whenever life happens, there's the whole system goes into this pause, into this fear to keep you safe. The next step between, as you can see, there's like the 3 steps of the physical, emotional, and mental, right? And then there is the memory and the higher self. In conscious navigation, when you're conscious of the way you're navigating your life, you're aware of the higher self and you're aware of the memory, and they're always playing a game. They're always good friends, right? So when the conscious walks in, gets your attention and say, wait a minute, what happens? You are able to identify what happens, and you are able to go into the memory and see why is it still here? What programs am I still running? What happens, why are we so disconnected from the higher self? It again has to do from our ancestors. In a certain time and point in our life, what happened, God became outside of us. So whenever you had a problem and whenever something happened, you will go into a prayer, you will go into begging, you will go into some kind of ritual, right? Telling your story to a priest, right? So you're sharing, and then there's a message, you're punished and you're rewarded, right? And this is an ancestral kind of behavior, because religion been here for a long time, and a lot of us fell into this hole of religion, right? At some point, religion is helpful too, because if there's no religion, there was nothing else. If the higher self and you don't have good relationship, at least there is a prayer. At least there is something. At least something is holding you. At least something is supporting you. At least you can go and pray yourself out of it or into it, right? And then when I see what's happening again, people who are under a transformational path, and going and driving into meditation and going into affirmation, it's kind of substitute of religion to spirituality, right? So before something have happened, right, you're going to prayer, now you're going into meditation, or you're going into affirmation. I am so peaceful, I am so alive, everything great, I love myself, the world loves me, all of that. That's great. It's retraining the mind to think in a positive way. But the memory is still chasing you. You see what's happening? So this is the biggest gap when people moving into spirituality, and where people transforming into this new age, right? They're using it again like religion, not like as a transformation. When you take the memory is very important, and transforming what you're really made of. You see what I'm saying? Because if you're sitting in just meditation and just prayer, when you're getting into true transformation, the first important thing, most crucial thing, is go through your memory and really transform everything that you are, all the parts and pieces of you that are chasing you, that are still painful, that are still here, that are still not to transform. Why? Because when you're sitting in your quiet place of meditation, the mind knows exactly where to look for you. And it's going to bring all these aspects that you haven't transformed. It's going to go in and bite you again and again and again. And instead of transforming, and this is the pitfall of what's happening, instead of transforming, people going again into, I'm just going to breathe through that. I'm just going to meditate through it. I'm going to send love to that. It's all good. It's all good. But understanding and transform the lesson picking up the lesson from this event is even better. And this is what I mean, picking the lesson of whatever's happening. So if you're still hooked into something that happened in the past, right? Even if you look at the racial, there's a moment in time that something happened back then, even when it happened yesterday, a month ago, or 100 years ago, and you're still kind of carrying it with you, right? That means that this past is still affecting your present. When do you know that your present and your past made friends and it's not longer affecting you? It's when you can look back, and when you truly collected the lesson, you can be grateful. You know exactly why it happened, and you know exactly what it's transformed at you. And doesn't matter how big and evil this message or whatever you experience back then, right? There's a really moment of very deep transformation that is happening if you allow the memory, the higher self, to be friends, right? It's only through the higher self and memory that's when the true transformation can happen. Once it's happened, now you can sit and you can start training and retraining your mind into silence, into positive thinking, into presence. You see what's happening? Because if this past has not been transformed, it will be in your way. It will be in a way of your transformation, of your meditations, right? So before, whenever somebody was called to transform or change or evolve, they will dive into monasteries and ashrams, and they'll spend decades and years sitting and meditations and silence and training their mind. And there's all kinds of practices around that, and obtain lots of skills. And as I always say, people will sit in the meditation and then they come to the guru or the priest or the master and say, I'm enlightened, I have peace, I have love, I have happiness. And then they will say, really? How about you go back to your family and see if you really and truly can have love, peace, and enlightenment in your mind when you are experiencing life hands-on. So what is truly the new age, or this the age of Aquarius? I mean, there's so many names to where we're going through right now. It's not the running away. It's being here and now and transforming. There's lots of information that just been given out, just spit it out on internet about transformation. So all the hidden secrets that we have took in before, that were kind of given to us through to masters and teachers, right? It was hidden. It was say people are not ready. People need to be ready to receive this information. People need to evolve. They need to sit 10 years in meditation and 5 years in monastery before the next book and the next book and the next book will open up. Sometimes they will say you can go even mad or crazy once you receive this information. And the information that basically understanding that your thoughts, it's your reality, right? And once you understand that you have created your reality, it becomes scary. It becomes, holy moly, I have done it. I have created it with my thoughts, with my fears, with my self-sabotage. And once people understand that their thoughts create their reality, and you heard that many times, what does it really mean? Your thoughts create your reality. It's not only what you are today now, it's everything that you've been before now. You are not only who you are today, you are everything who you were before today and now. So holding this information that not only from this moment, but everything that you were before this moment. And as I talked before also about the memory body, also hold the information of your ancestors, right? The story that I told you about the mice, the things that our ancestors were afraid of, our body still holds this information. And that's also creating your reality. Being conscious navigator is being conscious of all 5 bodies at all times. You are constantly on alert, or you're constantly aware of all your 5 bodies. Eventually, that's where they say, when they say sometimes, my life is my meditation, right? So now The consciousness is so alert and so present that it can be present to every situation in your life and let you know right away what's happening. How is it activated in your memory, if it's still there, because it's after a certain time, the memory is already cleared and it's becoming much easier to breathe and to live life, right? So conscious life navigation, it's about training all those 5 bodies, going through your memory body, through all of the programs that you have encountered, every the programs that you downloaded from your parents, from your ancestors that are still here in your life today and now, and transforming it, learning from it and transforming with it. So as I mentioned before, when I was telling you about my life stories in different ways, the way I have lived my life, right? There was a time of prayer, which was just basically, let's numb this, let's just get through it. It's like, let's just give me a life jacket so I can swim to the shore and be safe. I didn't transform any of it. I just kept myself safe. And the second time, when I just shut the door, I never want to look back again. I never want to see what's there. It's not transforming because I didn't feel safe. I didn't know even how, like run away, imagine it never happened. The true transformation happens when you are activating your consciousness, when you're becoming more friends with your consciousness to a point where at some moment you become your consciousness. You are your consciousness, right? And that's the pivotal point when the mind becomes consciousness. There is a difference between awaken and enlightened. Awaken, when you wake up, it's when you are realizing that is what's happening. This is an awakening moment when you kind of say, oh my God, I didn't believe that this is what I did, or I did it for a long time. I have awoken. It can also happen when you awaken, when you see certain life things. For instance, during COVID, a lot of people have awakened. There was lots of awakening that you can't believe everything you hear. It's basically the message of the mind, the global message of the mind. You can't believe everything that your mind is telling you. Investigate your thoughts, where they're coming from. This is the point of awakening. Enlightenment, it's when your mind becomes your consciousness. This is where people sit for dozens of years in meditations and doing all kinds of practices to just numb the mind and just come to this consciousness, to this pure awareness, when the mind becomes God, right? What does it mean, mind becomes God? It has no judgment. It has no criticism. It has just pure witnessing and pure love. There's no I love you, I hate you. There's no do it right, do it wrong. This is just pure awareness. And it's the same relationship that you have not only with yourself, but the world. You no longer need to fix the world. The world is perfect as it is. You're no longer stuck because the dolphins are tortured somewhere. You have an awareness and love towards the situation, but you're not going into this, I'm going to stop living because this and that is happening. You see what's happening? The world is perfect and evolving and its own perfect pace as it needs to. And if you look where we were before in our awareness and where we are now in our awareness, we have changed a lot. We have changed and transformed a lot. There's things like it's illegal to hit your children anymore. There's things like we're cycling, right? That wasn't there before, but it's here now. We're more aware how much we're polluting or not polluting the earth. We are more about animal rights. We have evolved and we have changed a lot. I mean, I was in a total awe. I was born in Ukraine, and when the thing between Ukraine and Russia happened, and everybody withdrew their business from Russia, I was like, wow. So we are evolving and changing. So the mind can go into the story. Yes, we are evolving and changing. And that's great and amazing. Or the mind can go into the story. The world is so dangerous. I can't trust anyone, right? And it's still mind in both ways. The conscious awareness going to come into aha moment. Okay, this is what's happening and this is what's happening. And if there's emotion and thought involved, then you need to go into the memory where it's coming from, right? And that's the story of true transformation and change. This is where things are really, really happening. When we're going through the transformation and change, it's important to know how our mind and what are our habits when we're going through transformation and change. Some kind of happens when things are changing, and when things are changing too fast, or when things are changing too slow, right? And it's important to look at the habits of the mind. What is the habits of the mind when we are transforming and when we are changing? So you can see when there was a big global transformation, or call it global meditation, COVID, all of a sudden there was almost this awakened moment of the world going into war. And that was the feeling when people just went and started stocking up on stuff and filling up the fridges. And even though that a lot of us were not in a war, literal war, existing war, there's something in our body remembered to go into the safe space of crisis. And funny for me that I was calm inside and I really did not feel that I need to do anything. And my children called me and said, Mom, you're having your head up in the clouds, bringing it down to her earth. Go to the store and stock yourself, just stock your fridge and everything. And I listened to them because they were concerned for me. And that's the moment where I made a big mistake, but I listened to my children and I went into the store and there was an activation of this war memory that I never been into. Stocking, people running around and not enough food, stocking up on toilet paper, paper towels. Do you all remember how it was? So when we are in a crisis and survival mode and the consciousness is not even available, right? Sometimes it happens. Sometimes there's the rug being pulled under your feet and you just go into this whole crisis. And it's survival mode. That's it. You're in your survival mode. And it's important to know when to meditate and when to take care of yourself, and whether the conscious is active or it's not active, and whether it's time to go into your memory or just calm things down. So when you're on this path of transformation and you're going through life events and the mind is extremely active and demanding your attention or going into some kind of crisis, if you learn to go back after it happened, right? Not just running away, shutting the door, I never want to look again, but actually allowing yourself to go back and take the step and see, wait a minute, how did I get myself into it? How did I get myself out of it? What helps me to calm the mind? What helps me to cope with the situation? This is first aid, right? And that's how you're kind of starting to collect your first aid tools, right? So maybe for me, for somebody who's, for instance, has anxiety or fear, going to meditation is not an option. At this moment, maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe remember to taking deep breaths. Maybe it's calling a friend. But you need to have tools, your emergency tools, right? When something like that happens, when the consciousness, if you haven't practiced your relationship with your consciousness and your memory, you need to have your emergency tool. Where can you dive in and how can you help yourself just to ground yourself in this situation, just to help yourself breathe, giving breathing space. Once the mind have come down, and you know when the mind is calm, when you kind of already present, and the emotions are not going through the roller coaster and they're not in a storm, right? When you kind of, that's the point now when you can bring in the consciousness, bringing the memory and start dissecting. Right now you're practicing. If you do that several times, most likely you will not repeat the cycle. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to go through this again. When life happening, when your mind is acting up so strong, and all the gurus are saying they go to your meditation, but you cannot meditate. There's so many traps in that spiritual or new age thing that people are just not aware, right? But when the mind is waking up and just eating you alive, that's the time to keep yourself safe and see what is in my toolbox. The mind is too active right now. It can be walk, meditation, funny movie, calling a friend, whatever it is. When it's coming down, when the emotions and thoughts came down. Now it's time to go into your investigation. Why am I acting like that? What really happened? Where did I learn to act like that? What was the memory that been downloaded into me? Hundreds of years ago, maybe you had a mother who was extremely overprotective. So everything that's happening to you in your life, you're going to, oh my God, am I safe? Am I safe? Right? Maybe something did happen. And you're going to, am I safe? And am I safe? Am I safe? Right? So once you are in a safe zone, that's the time to investigate through the mind and memory and the higher self. And that's what we're doing in that 10-week of rapid transformation. It's laser focused on you, how to activate all of those 5 bodies, and that's how to transform it. And that's why it's so effective, because you're present to all 5. If you look at any modalities, if you go to meditation, it's calming the mind. It's not transforming your life events. It's calming the mind. That's it. Right? If you go into psychology, now a lot of therapists, a lot of psychologists are going into this, bringing spirituality and psychology together. When they're going to the lesson, when they're going to transformation, they're learning. It's becoming a little bit faster than before. But if you're sitting with a therapist for numbers of years, still dissecting the same story, it's a band-aid solution. You're going to a therapist for a band-aid solution. Yes, it's important to remember. No time for transformation. It's no time to transform it when you are in crisis. It's time to calm down the storm, right? Because if you're looking at the witness or the God self or the higher self, God never comes to you in a storm. If you look, what is the qualities of God? Can you drop in the chat? What is the qualities of God? What do we know about God? Who is he? What is the qualities of consciousness? It's unconditional. It's always there, right? So if the mind in chaos, it has no time to move to unconditional being always there. It's getting your attention, and it's like child in crisis, right? Child in crisis, there's no reasoning with him. You cannot tell him, don't be afraid of dogs if the child is in crisis and paranoia. You're going to pick him up, you're going to calm them down, and then you can talk to them about dogs and how dogs are good, and maybe let's go pet the dog. But you cannot tell your child, let's go pet the dog when it's hysterical. Think about that. This is how your mind is, right? When life happening and the mind goes into crisis, and telling you more stories that are not real. Right? So everything, it's like looking for the boogeyman. When the mind goes into crisis, it's looking for the boogeyman. So whatever happens, it magnifies it. It wants your attention. Give it the attention, right? It's like when the child screams when it's afraid of dogs. If everybody will scream with the child, it will be extremely traumatic, right? But if there is there's something conscious that's coming in and just calming it down and then letting it deal with stuff, right? We all have this child mind that's still trained a certain way from our ancestors. When I work with those 10 steps of transformation, of 10 steps of rapid transformation, I have people that come with all kinds of issues, all kinds of problems that are been there for many, many, many years, right? Like that are not allowing them to move, to transform and change. And when they do this conscious life navigation or this 10 steps of rapid transformation, that's when things are really, really happening, right? And I work with 2 tools, breath and meditation. And I'm going to go through the meditation. I'm going to explain how it works. And there's 2 parts of it, the breathing, and 1 part is meditation. First, I'm going to take us through meditation and then the breath part, right? The breath part, I don't know, anybody here not familiar with holotropic breath? No, okay. Holotropic, I'm just gonna very shortly to tell you about it. Holotropic breath were discovered in the 70s, and it was by one of the psychiatrists, apparently, who was working with LSD. And then LSD became illegal. And he was looking for all kinds of tools, how to work with people to help them to get into their subconscious mind. And this is when he discovered the holotropic breath, right? And that's allowed him to transform and change many minds without the LSD drug, right? Very often when I worked with people through this process, I have something like people who have done medicinal plants like ayahuasca and peyote. They say, oh my God, this is exactly like ayahuasca, right? Because it does drop you into this subconscious mind, but it doesn't need to be ayahuasca. It's usually a whole night trip, and then it takes you further and further. But this is only 15, 20 minutes. We're not going to go for long, and you're going to see how much deeper you can go with that. We're going to start with the meditation first, with the grounding ourselves, and then we're going to go into the breath, the holotropic breath. You need to have a place to sit up, and you need to have a place to lie down, right? So for the meditation, you'll be sitting up, and for the breath, you'll be lying down. If by any chance you don't have a place to lie down, all I'm asking you, just going backwards and just allowing yourself kind of half lying down pose to go after we do the meditation. I'm going to demonstrate both breaths now because we're going to move from one to the other. And if not, I can just talk through it again and just summarize what we have done. So the 5 bodies, we spoke about 5 bodies in a transformation. We have our physical, emotional, mental, memory, and higher self. Most aware of us aware of 3 bodies: physical, emotional, mental. Through transformation, when we're going through a transformation, we need to activate the memory and the higher self. The higher self is the one that always present. It's God presence. It doesn't judge and doesn't criticize. It is always there. We're going to be activating the higher self. So it can look through the memory body and see all of the programs that you have encountered through your life. So anything that happens, you become aware of the thought, emotion, and physicality. And then you ask yourself, where is it coming from? Where did I learn to feel and think that way? And how can I transform it? This is all the question asked from the higher self. So whenever an event happens, you don't go, oh, why did I, what I didn't I, right? It's judging, it's mind. You don't going through emotion. Oh, I hate it, I love it, right? It's emotion. If you're caught in the emotion and feeling, it will go into the body will speak, right? So that's why through this process, we'll be working through the higher self and the memory. Questions? We're moving forward. The first meditation that we'll be doing, your hands together, all 5 fingertips are touching, right? You create like a container. You turn it upside down and you put it down towards your lower belly. Now your hands are holding your lower belly. It's like, imagine as if it's holding your whole pelvic floor. Your eyes are closed and you're just breathing. And you can breathe with me, closing your eyes and just breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Inhaling on 4, exhaling on 4. Inhale on 4, exhale on 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. We'll be using this breath for the meditation, just inhaling and exhaling through our nose. The next meditation that we'll be moving through going to be lying down. That's the breath that I told you. It will be through breathing. And that's going to be completely a reverse breath than what we did. You're going to be practicing sitting up, but you'll be doing it after lying down. So if you're sitting up, stay seated. And the way the next breath goes, it's putting your hands on your chest. Your mouth is slightly open. Your eyes are closed. And the breath is through your mouth. This is the holotropic breath. And you're breathing through your mouth into your heart. Through your mouth into your heart. So it goes like that. Dropping your mouth and it goes like that. Please go on for a few more breaths with your eyes closed, mouth dropped, slightly dropped. Inhaling and exhaling. Ocean breath. Okay. Gently open your eyes and come back. So the first breath was very grounding. We ground ourselves first. The second breath took you deeper. Did you notice that? The second breath took you deeper. You guys notice the difference? Yeah. We're going to go into experience. So sitting up straight, you can lean, but don't go too much back in. You can be supported, but still sitting straight. All 5 fingertips together. Hands upside down, bringing it down to your thighs, holding your lower belly. Imagining you're holding your pelvic floor. Hands down, eyes are closed, breathing through your nose. Inhale on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep the pace of the breath, inhaling on 4 and exhaling on 4. And just start noticing the physical body. Noticing the top of your head. Noticing the back of your head. Noticing the front. Notice your eyes, your ears, your nose and your mouth. Continuing your breath. Notice your neck and your throat. Notice your shoulders and your arms. Notice your back and your spine. Notice your chest. Notice your belly. Notice your thighs, your knees, your legs, all the way down to your feet. Keep breathing, noticing the whole body, your whole physical body, inhaling and exhaling. Notice your emotional body. Notice all the feelings that are existing here right now. No judging them, not changing them, just noticing them. Noticing your thoughts. Noticing any thoughts that are here. Maybe one thought, maybe 100 thoughts. No judging, no changing, just noticing. Notice the thought, the emotions, and the physicality. Now notice your spine. Notice the place between your tailbone and your crown. And see if you can energize the spine and imagine that your spine is a rod of energy. And this rod of energy can extend itself all the way down into Mother Earth, all the way down into the heart of the Mother Earth. And then it can extend itself upwards, all the way up into Father Sky. And imagine this pool of energy that extended all the way below and above. And you support it below and above. You're supported by Mother Earth and you're supported by Father Sky. And breathe into the support, breathe into this existence, inhaling and exhaling. Again, be aware of this rod of energy that is activated in you. Notice your physical body, emotional body, mental body. Now bringing the memory body, everything that you are today now, and everything that you were before now. Look at who you were yesterday. Look who you were before yesterday. And look who you were a year ago. Bring in the memory body. Now bring in the higher self. So now you're aware of your physicality, emotion, thoughts, memory, and now bringing the higher self, the one that looks at all of it without judgment, without criticism, just aware of all of you, of your thoughts, emotions, physicality, and memory, just aware, just noticing that it's there. Just notice of everything that you made of. Almost like this God presence. And if you cannot identify God present, imagine someone that you really admire and wants to be like them. And this character looks at you and look at yourself through their eyes. With no judgment, no criticism. Just looking and witnessing. Again, looking through your thoughts, emotions, physicality, and memory. Looking at everything you are today, everything that you were yesterday, everything that you were a year ago. Just remember, who were you a year ago? Who were you in 22, the beginning of 22, the first months of 22? And go backwards 5 years ago. 2018. See, who were you 5 years ago? What was happening in your life? What did you do? What you didn't do? Who were you 5 years ago? Taking yourself even further back. Taking yourself 10 years ago. Looking in your memories. Who were you 10 years ago? Look at the relationship between who you were now, who were you a year ago, who you were 5 years ago, and now 10 years ago. Dive even deeper. This is who I was 10 years ago. Don't judge it. Don't change it. Just breathe through that. Just be present to whoever you were 10 years ago. Now we're going to dive even deeper. Let's look at who you were in your teen years. Going at yourself and just revisiting who you were as a teenager. Somewhere between 12, 16, maybe 17, 18 if you are a late bloomer. Look, who were you in your teens? What kind of teenager you were? What kind of relationship you had with your parents when you were a teenager? How free and supported you felt? What were your dreams? What were your actions? Who did you think you'll become when you grow up? Taking you further back. First years of school. Just revisiting that. And see what was your relationship once you start school, relationship to your teachers. And you're looking at that through the higher self, just noticing. Just noticing. What was your relationship with your peers? Did you feel accepted? Did you feel scared? What kind of student you were? Were you stressed? Did you want to do good? Was it difficult? Look what was happening when you started school. And then even further back. Everything that you remember about your first year of life. Who were mom and dad? How supported you were or not supported you were? Did you feel loved? Did you feel safe? What was the form of discipline in your home? Who were your siblings? Taking yourself backwards. Whatever you remember or know about your birth story. Whatever you remember or know about your birth story. How did you come into Earth? Maybe you were adopted. Maybe somebody else carried you. And then you were given to be raised by someone else. What is your birth story? Did you want to come out? You didn't want to come out. Were you late? Were you too early? Was it dramatic birth? Was it peaceful birth? Were both parents there? Was the mother scared? Was the mother prepared? What is the circumstances of your birth? Were they happy to receive you? Now go into the womb and see what do you think or know how you felt in the womb. Did you feel safe? Were you wanted or unwanted? Look at your conception. Were you planned? How did you come to here, this earth? Now look at your whole life, your conception to today and now. Look at all of the events that you experienced that made you who you are today and now. This is your life. Look through the eyes of the higher self, all the memories that you have collected from the moment of conception on this earth. Through the womb, through the birth, from parenting, from school, from life experiences. This is your whole life. And when you're looking and breathing through your whole life, from the higher self, when you're looking at the memory body, ask, what is my lesson? What am I here to transform? What am I here to change? How can I be more loving and accepting to myself? How can I support myself more in this life experience? How can I trust life more? How can I trust myself more? As you're breathing in and breathing out. 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 And now, with gentleness, with caution, and with great support, let's move to lying down. Best way is to be on the floor. If you're on the couch, on the couch. If you're supported by the chair, that's where you are. And allow the hands just to drop beside you. Now slowly open your mouth. Feel the support underneath you. Allow yourself to be supported by whatever you are leaning against. And now breathe through your mouth. Inhaling through your mouth, exhaling through your mouth. The mouth might get thirsty. It's okay. It will pass soon. Just keep breathing and allow yourself to be supported and relax even more. And look at all the life lessons that you have lived and transformed already. Because if you look through your life, you're not who you were when you were in the womb. And you're not who you were in school. And you're not who you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Look at every moment that life and life events have changed you and transformed you. Every day and every year, something was happening. Something was talking to you. Something was transforming you. Something was shifting you. Something was changing you. Look at the programs that you have taken from your parents. Some of them worked for you and some of them did not work for you. Look at these programs that are still existing here that you have took from your memory body, from your ancestors, been passed from generation to generation. And hold them with love, hold them with compassion. Really activate this higher self. And breathe into this memory body that holds this information of how to behave, how not to behave, what is right, what is wrong, all the should and all the shouldn'ts. And just breathe into that with love, with compassion. And if you can breathe into your life, into those all aspects of yourself, and from this higher self, just whisper to yourself, I am here for you. I am here for you. It's okay. I am here for you. And keep witnessing and whispering and repeating the same message again and again. I am here for you. And keep breathing, keep experiencing, and be present to every part of that. I am here for you. I am here for you. I am here for you. What does it mean to be committed to you? What does it mean to be committed to thoughts, emotions, physicality, memories? What does it mean to be committed to the higher self? I am here for you. Breathing and witnessing and have total presence. What does it mean to be there for yourself? When you drop the judgment, when you drop the criticism, when there is no right or wrong, where there's just presence. I am here from you. I am here for you. And just see what promise can you make to yourself. How can you be more gentle, more supporting, more present to yourself? To this life that you're living on this earth in this body. What promises can you make that you can deliver? What new memories you can create? I am here for you. I am here for you. And really imagine what would it be like to be there for yourself every step of the way, without judgment and without criticism. How easier life would be if you can just trust yourself that you'll be there for yourself. I am here for you. I am here for you. And you can revisit the last moment where you remember you criticized yourself, or you judged yourself, or you were not there fully and completely for yourself. And imagine the same situation and just whisper to yourself, I am here for you, it's okay. I am here for you, it's okay. Breathing in and breathing out. Just notice how the body feels when you say to it, I am here for you. Notice how your emotions are feeling when there's, I am here for you. What is the mind saying when you're saying, I am here for you? What's happening to your memories when you're saying to your whole life, I am here for you? See how the connection with this higher self, with this consciousness, is when you are there for yourself on 5 levels. I am here for you. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. I am here for you. Unconditionally. Unconditionally. I love you at your best. I love you at your worst. I love you unconditionally. And keep repeating and whispering to yourself. I love you at your best. I love you at your worst. I love you unconditionally. Taking a few more breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. I love you at your best. I love you at your worst. I love you unconditionally. You can close your mouth and just deepen your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. I love you at your best. I love you at your worst. I love you unconditionally. And slowly and gently bring the movement to your toes and to your fingertips. Bringing yourself to today and now. Grounding yourself. And bending your knees, bringing your knees into your belly, taking your time, moving them side to side. And if you're sitting up, you can just move your head side to side. Very gently in your own pace. If you're sitting up, just move your body. If you're laying down, move into child pose with your knees down and grounding your forehead for a few more breaths. And very gently, very slowly, in your own safe time, coming back to seated, coming back to vertical. So if you're leaning back in the chair, bring yourself back to alertness and presence. And if you're lying down, just come back to your seated pose. Gently open your eyes. Be present. With your hands, wrapping your hands together. Creating heat between your hands. And just brushing through your head, through your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your neck, your shoulders, chest, belly, thighs, knees, all the way down to your feet. What will be really good is with the palm of your hand, rub the sole of your foot. And then the other hand, palm of your hand, rubbing the soles of your feet. Yeah. Yeah. Coming back and being present. Thank you. Welcome back, guys. What was your biggest clarity moment in this process? If anybody wants to speak up and say something, I would really like to hear back from you. What was the biggest changing moment? What was the biggest aha moment in this process? Would you like to share a bit?
Yes, I think it was all of it. There are a lot of sort of epiphanies, light bulbs going off. And whenever I'm with a person, I always, gauge how I feel, if I feel there is truth. And I felt that, and I felt that within myself. And the exercise time traveling in a sense, going back. I found that very enlightening, and the memories that were stirred were very interesting.
Yeah.
What
was the difference? Did you notice the difference going back through memories before and not going through memories now through this process?
The trauma, I guess. For me, it's been a lot about physical injuries, and sort of being able to see around what was happening then, and being able to look at it dispassionately, very just taking a step back and seeing how that has impacted my life, and as you say, the stories you build about it and the fears you have around it, and the way those things impact the way you are today.
Yeah. And you said it beautifully, taking a step back, right? So it's taking the step back from emotion and thought, right? Mm. And when you're really diving into this conscious, into this gut presence, right? Into this non-attachment, because that's what we did in this process. That's when the lesson opens. That's when you can see it clearly. When the thought and emotion are not active. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
You see,
that's
exactly what's happening in those 10-step 10 session of transformations. When you take away the thought, when you take away that activity of the mind, that's when the truth is happening.
There was a lot of drama attached, and all the drama was gone.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right, that's exactly when you catch it. That's exactly when you can see the drama, when the emotion and the thought are quieting down. You could see the drama, you can see it's drama. Right?
But you're not engaged with the drama.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was awareness of the drama and engaging in it and being lost in it. But this has been able to take a step back to see those things.
That's why whatever happened to us, right, 100 years ago, we're still carrying it, because we cannot step into the higher self and really witness the situation. We are caught in the story and the emotion, right? Now you can see how most of us are slaves to thoughts and emotions, and that's beautiful. I'm very happy that you were able to see it so clearly. I'm offering something very special to people who are still here and people who signed up. We had about 30 people who signed up and 30 people who are here with me, 3 people who stayed in with me. And some of you said, I'm sorry, and just had to leave, but we're going to be sending an email with the recording. And what I'm offering, I have a few spots that opened up. What I'm offering is a 30 minutes consultation with me, 30 minutes navigation activation session. And that will help you to gain more clarity. It can help you to take you to the next step, and it can help you to where we can just sit and see whether we're fit to work together, so you can know more about my work and more about yourself. You definitely gain some things from that. You definitely will transform something. So I dropped in the chat 30 minutes with Renata, and it's free. So by all means, if you're still here, book yourself 30 minutes with me. There's just a few spots are available, and whoever will be there, that will be just a bonus and will just take you forward. So I truly appreciate it. Before we leave, anybody wants to share anything? Anybody wants to say anything? Almost at the top of the hour.
Renata, could I just say something? When we went into the first breath, the grounding breath, and you were taking us back, I almost felt fearful and sad going back, because is it natural to have so many negative memories in the process? And then the second breath, laying down, accepting unconditional love for self, it seemed to kind of clear that anxiety I felt from the first breath.
Yeah. So still building trust with the past. Right? You see what I'm saying?
Can
Still
you
building trust with the past. All right. So the past happened, but the past still affects me here when I'm looking at that. That means there's still building trust with the past, the transformation of the past, right?
So do you recommend doing that more often? Going back, going back, going back?
When the mind is clear and settled, right? That's when you go back, you transform this. So you look at that, you look at the memory. Why is it still here? What am I transforming, right? So when life happening or when life events are happening, and it's activating the thought or the emotion, all right? It means it's still activating the program from before. Something still needs to be healed. Something still needs to be transformed. Once you have went through your story, you have transformed, and there's no hooks into the past. Now the next stage, if you remember, I spoke about it in the beginning. The next step is that training the mind, because now the mind needs to get into a whole new routine, right? If the mind's still hooked into the story of the past, it will come and activate the story. But if the mind solved the story, but still in this repetitive fear, right? But now at least you can see the mind. Now you have more navigation powers. Now you can come from this witness, and you can say, okay, we've been there. You transformed that. Why are you still here, right? Remember the story about the rats? The ancestral programming. It's still in my genes to be scared, right? So now once the story is transformed, now you can work with the mind. Okay, I know I'm okay. I know I'm safe. Let's breathe through that.
Okay, because in some of the levels going back, I felt, oh, I don't want to look at that part of my life.
Yeah.
It brings me sadness.
Right.
But
right.
I try to look at it as witness, to say that was then. What lesson did I learn from that? And then going into the other heart breath.
Once you can see what's the gift of this event, what is the gift of this event? What did I transform through this event, right? Then when you're looking at that, you can look at it with ease. Right? What is the gift in that? You see
That's
what
helpful. Yes, thank you. That's helpful.
Okay. All right, guys, you were super awesome. Great energy here. I'm very loving our cozy small group. Anybody else want to say anything before we say bye to each other and meet again, maybe next class? All right. So I hope you guys looked. It's in the chat, the 30 minutes free. Do join me, do book your appointment. Also, if you want to stay connected, we're on Facebook group, Conscious Breath, Conscious Life. If you're still not part of this Facebook group, please join us. Conscious Breath, Conscious Life. Let me see if I can add I have it here. No, here it is. Yeah. Somewhere I had it in the chat. Now I lost. Oh, here we go. I'll put it in the chat so you have our Facebook group too. And if you haven't joined yet, please do. There's a recording there of another class that you can listen to. There is also an invitation. We had recently Conscious Love Navigation, which is all about relationship. So if you sign up, you can get a recording of that. If you have any questions, find me on Facebook and chat with me. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. And that's it. I hope you have an awesome rest of the weekend, and I hope I'll see you again in my next class or in the 30 minutes. Have a good one.